Welcome back, everybody, to the Skin Deep podcast. I have the pleasure and honor of talking with Mr. Joseph Knuckles. Joey, how you doing, brother?
I'm great, Wes. How are you?
I'm doing good, man. If you would, give the audience a little introduction into exactly who you are.
Well, I'm Joey Knuckles from Columbus, Ohio. March 17th, which is in just a few days, I will have been tattooing half of my life.
That's fucking awesome, dude.
Yeah, 23 years of thanks to Wes. Wes taught me how to tattoo. It's crazy. It's been that long. Seems like it's been really short because it's been so fun. I now somehow own 3 shops in Columbus, Ohio. Wes taught me at a shop called Body Language. I started working there, I think 01 or was 01 maybe.
Something like that, yeah. Early.
There as a kind of floor guy, piercing apprentice, part-time piercer, and then it moved into tattoo apprentice, and then tattooer. So, my second job in tattooing was at High Street Tattoo. After years of working with Wes, and I decided to move to Philadelphia for a while. In Philly, I got to work at Philadelphia Eddie's, at Old City Tattoo, Raw Power Tattoo. I also worked at New York Hardcore on Saturdays in New York City. I worked at Black Vulture Gallery, and I worked at Old City Tattoo. It sounds like a lot, but my goal when I moved to Philly was just to spend a year and a half, 2 years at a bunch of shops that I really admired. And I kind of told the guys when I got hired, that was kind of the plan. So
yeah, no, you did some traveling, man. Saw a lot of stuff, a lot of cool people.
Well, yeah, I have to keep in mind too, when I was in Philly, I would have up to 3 jobs at tattoo shops at once. Because it's a fiercely competitive city. And like when I got to Philly, I got the job at Philadelphia Eddie's, and I got hired at Cadillac Maniac for Cosmo, the Cosmo Commander. Howard, he's dead now. Rest in peace. But he's a really good dude, really funny. But he hired me for Cadillac and Maniac, and I got hired by Troy Temple at Philadelphia Eddie's, and I took both jobs because Eddie's, you know how I worked in Columbus. It was 6 days a week, and I'll come in on my 7th day if you really want me to, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
At Eddie's, they offered me, I think, 4 6-hour shifts at first. And I was like, oh my God, that's like 24 hours, dude. I can't live in 24 hours. Are you crazy? As much as I drink, that's too much time. More so that it's not enough time to make money. At that point in my life, it was too much time to get in trouble. Like, I worked a lot so that I stayed out of trouble. And I just stacked, tried to stack. So I took the job at Maniac also, and driving out there got really tough. So I worked at Eddie's for a couple of years, then I popped to Old City for a couple of years, and then I kind of finished my time in Philly out at Black Vulture. It was kind of by design. It sounds like a lot, and I would always supplement the days that I had off by working at either another shop in the suburbs, so it wasn't like a competitive thing. I also worked at Baker Street Tattoo in media outside of Philly. But I would supplement at like suburban shops or in New York City. And then in 2013, I got offered High Street Tattoo. I took that over, and it wasn't doing so well when I got it, and it kind of bounced back. I think 2014, Wes came and got tattooed by me, and offered me to be a partner at Body Language. And I was super stoked. Definitely did it, and it worked really well. We were partners for a few years after that,
I
right?
think 18 is when I sold it completely to you and Hens.
Yeah. So for 5 years we were business partners, right? Or 4 years we were business
Yep.
partners, and then in 2016 I opened Sacred Hand Tattoo Society, which is the only shop I've opened in Columbus. So one of the things I like to kind of brag about is that in 23 years in this city of consistently tattooing here, even when I lived in Philly, I was always coming here to tattoo. I've only ever worked at 3 shops, and somehow I own all 3.
That's wild, dude.
Yeah, I really, I'm sure you can attest to that. I feel like loyalty had a lot to do with that.
Yep.
Like kind of not burning bridges, and in a day and age when everybody has to set everything on fire to leave somewhere so they can justify what they want to do with their career. I wasn't really into that kind of stuff. I valued what you gave me, and what Giovanni taught me at High Street when I was there, and even some things I learned when I was bouncing around working at a bunch of shops. I learned some things not to do from some people as well. So
That's highly important. You can learn just as much what not to do than what to do.
Yeah, and especially as a young tattooer working for very extremely different people. Between I had worked for you, and then I worked for Giovanni, and then I worked for Troy Temple, and then I worked for Jason Goldberg, and then I worked for Hoodie, and a couple other unmentionables along the way. I worked for Eddie Cass also. Then I worked for Jimmy Gestapo and Vinny Stigma at New York Hardcore. So that was like 2 of my like music heroes. It was like more of a whoa, I get to do this kind of thing.
Right.
So it's like I've worked for a lot of very different kinds of folk, which I've really appreciated. I don't really have. If I have something negative to say about any of those people, I'm not bringing their names. If I have anything negative to say about anybody that I've worked for or around, I haven't brought their names up. So right. If I just said their names, they were awesome, and I learned something from them that really helped me one way or the other.
That's awesome. And so here we are, half your life's been tattooing. Let's rewind in the history of Joey Knuckles. We got some throwback pictures.
That dude's got hair, dude. Look at that.
Before getting into tattooing, what were you doing?
Yo, that's before I owned fucking tattoo shops. That was what my fucking hair looked like. When I was working for motherfuckers, I was beautiful. Now look at me.
Living
sorry,
the
what
life.
was your question? I'm sorry.
Just what was the path you were on before you somehow slid into body language with me?
Oh shit, dude. Crime. I was working in kitchens and demolition and hustling and doing whatever I could. There's a picture of me with no tattoos back there. That's before I had any tattoos. I moved away from home when I was 16. I got in some trouble, and my stepdad, who was my hero, had Alzheimer's disease, and it was hard to see, man. So I bounced from home early and just took care of myself. So, I got in with some cool punk rocker dudes, and we just did whatever we had to do to make enough money to get drunk and eat pizza. We worked at restaurants, and if I worked at Pizza Hut or something, my boy worked at like a restaurant that sold cheeseburgers. He'd bring a cheeseburger home for dinner because he was sick of that place, and I'd bring a pizza home from dinner because I was sick of Pizza Hut, and we swapped, so we both got a nice meal. I feel like I've led a really fun, interesting, blessed life, but it's not what you would call a conventionally blessed life. I was very poor and alone a lot of my life. So kind of brought me to valuing kind of friendship over family sometimes,
Right.
and just like finding my own people, my own tribe, and I think a lot of that feeling of not having anyone and feeling of like not knowing who I was or not being comfortable with who I was, I think that really led me to getting tattooed a lot.
What was your first tattoo?
I me
You getting a tattoo, because
I
we've
went
got the pictures of you tattoo-less.
I might have did a little time in juvenile hall, right? I might have been a bad kid. I don't know, man. I was good to my mama. You know what I mean? I just got in trouble.
What was the first tattoo you got in a tattoo shop?
Well, I'd like to tell a story of the first tattoo I got.
Okay.
When I was in juvie, I saw a dude make a tattoo machine, and I was like, "That's fucking awesome," And I got out, and I was bragging to my friends about how I knew how to build a tattoo machine because we were all listening to punk rock and hardcore and stuff. And everybody all the bands we listened to all had tattoos. And we were like, we knew we were going to get tattooed at this point, We
Right.
just old enough. We were like maybe 14, or no, I'm sorry, we were 16. I'm sorry. And so I was like, man, I know I can make this tattoo machine, And my boy Jody Gitchell called me out and was like, "You can't make the fucking tattoo machine." So I said, "How did I made it? It was running." So like a Walkman. I don't want to tell anybody how to make it, but it was like piece of shit, but it ran, and I did like a little straight edge X on my thigh, and I did
Nice.
some extremely crooked letters on my arm, as you can imagine, trying to tattoo your own arm like here, without knowing anything. And then I did, I believe I did a straight edge tattoo on my boy Chris, just a little X, and it was brutal. We were smart enough, at least at the time, we made a machine for each person.
Okay.
Like we each had our own machine because we knew at least that we weren't supposed to do that.
Right.
Like that was, we did that. We were like fucking around in a Bic lighter. It was guitar string. Hey, it looks pretty clean to me, dude.
Yep.
I don't see any diseases on it.
Right.
But we were stupid, and we shouldn't have done it. But I did a lot of things I shouldn't have done when I was a kid. And, hindsight's 2020, but again, there's very little of my path I think I would change because I'm pretty comfortable with who I am at this point. So I don't really, I'm pretty happy with where it led.
Yeah. No, there's different paths, definitely. And you're gonna have to remind me, just because I'm old as shit. Do you remember how you landed the apprenticeship with me? I want to say did you come in because of Kyle Peterson?
Yeah. So I was getting tattooed there fucking constantly. And when I wasn't getting tattooed, I was taking somebody to get tattooed and hanging out while they were there, fucking cracking jokes and all this. And then I believe I kind of started hanging around answering the phones because I think you dudes are sussing me out to see if I was, oh God, there's some old ones. Good Lord. That graffiti, I had to put that in there. Stick my floor, boy. So I think you guys were sussing me out to see if I was going to be, because I was a maniac of a human being. I was running the streets. I was living outside, dude. And I just think that you dudes were a little older than me and certainly calmer type humans, and you wanted to make sure that like being near me wasn't going to ruin your lives. Right. But then I think I surprised y'all. I think you guys gave me a spot as the piercing apprentice, and then I think
Yep.
I really think that was sussing me out to figure out if I could if I could work at the tattoo shop. I was like, come hang out, deal with the people in the front. We'll teach you to peers.
Right.
And
Right.
we'll see what's up. And then after, I always took working very seriously.
No, you did.
No matter what I was doing, I worked at sandwich places. I did demolition. I was always on time, and I always worked extra. I like money. I like to make money. So, I 40 ounces didn't buy themselves back in the day, bro. So I gotta get a bag of weed, man. I gotta get this extra shit.
Right.
So, I just I was always good at working, and I think that I surprised you guys when I got there, and then I gave myself a talking too. And was like, all right, dude, don't fuck around. Like, don't fuck. Here it is, like, I never thought I was going to get a chance to learn how to tattoo.
Right.
I certainly thought that was for cooler dudes that were more talented than me, and I lost my train of thought a little bit there.
Yeah, but that also goes to prove hard work pays off, and you can learn to become a tattoo artist.
I was not an artist when you started teaching me.
Right. And it splits the dynamic of what makes, I think, tattooing so cool is that there's the craft and then there's the art. And people start on either spectrum, but you have to learn both to become a professional tattooer.
Yeah,
for sure. I came in, more on I have to learn the craft and had a little bit of art skill. Luckily, it kind of ran in the family, but still to this day, I would call myself a tattooer, not a tattoo artist.
Yeah, I'm straddling the line now, finally. You know what I mean? I feel like I do enough art now outside of tattooing that I feel like now I am an artist. And I feel like sometimes I draw tattoos that are very unique to my style of drawing. And I feel like I'm a tattoo artist then, when I'm serving it up as they'd like, then I'm a tattooer, or,
Yep.
It kind of depends on the situation because I think, I don't know, ultimately it doesn't really matter as long as you're making people happy.
Right.
Like these are just words. It's really silly. Like I'm not drawing a hard line in the sand. You know what I mean? But Cook and Ken, when I did a guest spot at his shop years and years and years ago, and he was like, the way he explained it, I thought was kind of cool, and it stuck with me for a really long time. And he was like, you can be a tattoo artist. You can draw everything yourself and do your own thing. And you can have a nice apartment and you can go do conventions on the weekends and you can travel and tattoo places. He's like, or you can be a tattooer and you can own your home and you have a swimming pool behind it and you can travel for conventions and travel to tattoo, but you can also take vacations with your family and you can have a couple kids and raise them comfortably if you perform the job correctly, and to me, being the way I was with responsibility and the way I was with needing money, because I've always paid my mom's bills my whole adult life since I was a kid. So that's another thing that like I've had pressures on me that maybe other young people didn't have. So I had to make money. There wasn't like it wasn't like, whoa, endless summer ever in my life.
Right.
It's been fucking nose to the grindstone. Try to duck and dodge the fucking pitfalls of life to survive. And that's really been the entire story. Yeah, man. I feel really fortunate that you gave me what you gave me. And you never did me wrong. So when I left, I felt like, you were just still my dude, you know?
Yep.
And, you know, and, you know, it's fucking 20, almost 20 years later since I left Body Language, and now we still work together, you know?
Yeah. Crazy how life turns around. What was the, do you remember the first tattoo that you made $1 on?
Yeah,
When I gave you the green light.
I sure do. I was working the front, and at this point, I was doing y'all line drawings and making your stencils. Like, you guys just weren't even leaving your stations, you know? Like, I had everything else. I was like, you guys were like, this guy's fucking killing it, you know? And that's why y'all taught me to tattoo, is I just really took the job seriously and crushed it, you know? And I'm a people person, you know? I like talking, and it was natural to work on the tattoo floor for me. So I was working the floor one day, Body Language was cranking, everybody's tattooing. It's like 7:30. Everybody's got 2 or 3 more tattoos lined up still. We're about 20 minutes from stopping and taking jobs. And this girl come in, and she had a tattoo that she got, I think, from you. And all she wanted was some purple put in the banner. And I come in, and I was like, I kind of looked at the schedule, and I'm like, man, these guys are pretty loaded up already. You know, we're not leaving until like 11:30 as is. And I think it was a Saturday. And so I kind of like went around and I asked all the other artists. I was like, Andy, you want something? You know, I don't remember who else was there. And then I went to you and I was like, hey, Wes, do you want, can you fit another one in? You're like, oh, man, I don't know. What is it? I was like, she just wants some purple in this banner. And I'm like, and you're like, yo, just do it. And I think the shop minimum was $50 then, you know?
Yep.
And it's $50 minimum. I was like, yeah, I can do it for you, but it's got to be $50. I'm sorry. He's like, oh, I'm so sorry that it's so expensive. But she's like, oh, that's cool. I just want some purple in it. So yeah, that was the first. I still have that one of the, because I think I had you pay me in ones.
Yep.
Because I got $20 or something. I don't remember what my cut was. It was low because I was, you know, coming out of my apprenticeship.
Yep.
And I think I got like, you know, whatever it was, and I had you pay me in ones, and I took one and saved it, and then drank the rest.
Nice.
Just you know, I was so stoked. I remember driving. I had that Volvo you sold me for like $400.
Right.
The old beat up Volvo was like 300,000 miles. That was awesome. That car ran for me forever. I remember driving that thing home to my campus apartment like I was on a fucking cloud 9, dude. Like they see me rolling.
In a 1985 Volvo.
You know, fucking beat up old Volvo. Just living, man. Listening to AM radio. Fucking getting it.
So you're off to the races. Let's pop up some tattoos. Here's some of the older work.
Yeah. Motorhead. I'm sorry, Lemmy. I didn't mean to do you like that. That's a bad Motorhead skull. Yeah, man. That's kind of. I can't remember who those are on, but with the subject matter and the timing, those have to be like on Hardcore Kids or Punk Rockers. You know,
right?
Obviously, the one with the CCHC, that's got to be on Hardcore Kid. Obviously,
yeah.
I don't remember who got that, but some unfortunate person's fucking chin looks like Skittles melted all over it now. The Motorhead skull, I don't remember who that was on, but you know, I remember being pumped about doing it. You know.
Oh fuck yeah, man!
I hadn't seen. We were looking through the pictures. I hadn't seen that one in forever. I was like, holy shit. Yeah, this one here was a big one for me. I believe this woman is a tattooer now in Columbus for quite a while.
Okay.
I believe her name's Sharon. But I did this at High Street Tattoo. This was a few years into tattooing, you know?
Yep.
And I remember this was like one of the first tattoos I got a lot of compliments on from like older tattooers and dudes that I was working with. And I think you and other people were all like, that one's really cool.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, no, your style started. You definitely. I feel like this was the part of the emergence of your style.
yeah, I mean, for me, man, and I'll be totally honest. I was working at High Street with Scott Santee and Carrie Aldridge and Brett and Geo, and then Steve Sivnar came on. And we were all young and kind of getting some steam about us, but we were all pretty young, except for Geo. And then Steve came on and he had worked for Malone and Tattoos by Lou, and he like really knew the actual secrets, and he was a fucking tornado for our careers. I think you can look at everybody that worked there, and I bet you every single one of us would say that was a pivotal moment in our career, was getting to work with somebody with that much experience.
Right.
Because I think we were all somewhere between 3 and 6 years in,
Right.
And we were hot shit, and we thought we were cool. We were killing it, We were getting a lot of tattooing bartenders and bands and all this stuff. And then Steve came in, and we were like, "What the fuck are we doing, dude? Holy shit! Like, we're fucking this shit up." Like I did a dragging on this dude's arm, a firefighter, and as he's getting it, he walks out and he's like checking out this dragon Steve's doing on this other dude's arm, and I just remember just being like, "Fuck, yeah!" Like I gotta learn more shit, dude. I'm not doing this right.
That's fucking hilarious.
But I really think that when my work started getting more ornate like that, maybe even one could say over illustrated. I believe that was a big change point, and I probably credit Steve to that moment, and just the tornado that was the energy of that shop at High Street at the time.
No, those are some heavy hitters, man.
Yeah, all those guys became, shop owners here in town now. I believe, Scott moved out to Colorado, but he had a shop for a while, and everybody went on to kind of really do well for themselves.
Yeah. So now we're at present day. You have to somehow balance owning 3 shops and tattooing.
Yeah.
How does that day go? I know you're one of the only people who's up at 6 a.m. like me.
Yeah, I get it, dude. I mean, I fucking have to get after it, just like I've always done. It's because I own 3 tattoo shops doesn't mean that my fucking job is easier. It's quite the opposite. My job is much, much harder. But I like working hard. And like I said, if I was working doing drywall, I was carrying 5 sheets if you were carrying 2 sheets, I just wasn't. I just am down to work. I'm sitting at my art desk right now. As soon as I turn this off, I'm going to start painting for the morning.
Right.
So I wake up like 6. I'll rip some bongs and drink coffee till about 8:30, and then I'll hit the art room. And then I come down here and work. Sometimes I do a lot of like phone work for the shops while I'm down here, and like texting the artists and things like this to get that out of the way for the day. And then I start working. I try not to bounce back and forth. I jam some music or a podcast down here, and usually till about 11 a.m., and then I go and work out in my garage from 11 till about 1. And then I'll run a sauna and have a little lunch, and then head to work and tattoo until 8. Recently I've been kind of doing some by request walk-in days at High Street Tattoo on Saturdays whenever I'm in town and I have the energy from the week. I've been trying to bounce in there and do some flash or freehand stuff that I can pull off real cool for folks.
Right.
Just give people an opportunity to skip my wait list and catch gives me an opportunity to kind of do a one-shot knockout too. I don't get to do a lot of one-shot tattoos on my weekly schedule. It's usually session work.
Yeah.
So I've been taking the opportunity when I can to get to do some like instant gratification, fun stuff.
That's nice. Yeah, I like having my schedule balance between session work and one shot, one kills.
Yeah. I think actually moving forward, I think I might start tattooing Tuesdays of body language, and doing my appointments out there on Tuesdays just to go kick it with them and kind of give me some new energy and some new people to talk to about tattoos,
Right.
And just to hang out. I'm sure the guys would like me being out there a little bit.
Oh, hell yeah.
And so I'm going to go out there and do my appointments on Tuesdays, and then I'll keep my Wednesday, Thursday, Friday at Sacred Hand, and then I'm doing Saturday walk-in days at High Street. So
nice.
That'll be a nice change of pace, and just get the customers at the other shops a little more familiar with me. And I like to fucking yuck it up with the customers, and I like my face being seen at the places. So
right.
I just think that would be a little more fun than how I've been doing it in the last few years.
Yeah, change is the spice of life.
Well, and in theory, it cuts out, like I've always had this boss day where on Mondays I have to go to all three shops and, just kind of kick it and give people a chance to talk or ask questions or whatever. And, it's really easy. It's not like it's a difficult thing to do, but it's eating up a day off,
Right.
So, by going and working a shift at each shop, I'm able to allow myself that day off. So I think it'd probably be better for me, all the stress wise and energy wise and stuff, just to have 2 actual days off instead of just 1.
What keeps the passion and drive? Lots of people get burned out.
Cornbread, black-eyed peas, buddy. Stony Sinclair. What keeps it going?
Yeah, like you are easily one of the most motivated and enthusiastic tattooers I know who've been tattooing this long.
I just wouldn't know what it would be. Pot, probably. Probably pot.
All right.
No, for me. That's gonna play well.
Oh yeah.
For me, tattooing's fucking easy to love, dude. Like, I use that little catchphrase, tattooing with style and a smile, for a reason. I enjoy it. Tattooing's been really fun for me. When I hear people bitching about it or complaining about it, past, present, or future, I just feel like that's a them problem. It's not a tattooing problem. I think that's just an upset person.
Right.
I think maybe you just suck, and tattooing's totally radical, and you're like a shit hacker. Maybe you're just grumpy Gus, dude.
Yeah.
In the immortal words of the greatest entertainer that's ever lived, maybe you should take a look at the man in the mirror.
Yep. 100%.
I just don't think. I don't know, man. It's a choose your own adventure now, and it's changing. And not everything that's happening with the changes I identify with or I dig, but I'm going to adapt and move forward. Like, I'm not going to just be like, oh, fuck these guys and do this kind of stuff. It's like, nah, man. I'm just going to keep doing what I do, and I'm going to nurture people that come into my place and want to build their careers. Or I want to create a very comfortable environment for older tattooers that are settled with the way they want to do things to come and do what they need to do, and know that they ain't going to have somebody breathing down their neck or busting their fucking chops, as long as they're going to do the fucking job right. I hired a guy recently, and he seems like he's doing a good job, and I'm just like texting with him. I'm like, he's like, oh man, I was like, how's it going, man? He's like, oh, I'm liking it. And I'm like, well, I haven't heard anything about you yet, so that's pretty awesome.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, in a way, I think a lot of people blow tattooing out of proportion in importance in the world. We're a niche luxury that people don't need, and we're all incredibly fortunate to put food in our mouths and our families' mouths by doing this like amazing sacred craft that it's not like a task to do a tattoo. It's an honor to do a tattoo.
Yep.
You know what I mean? It's like you're being blessed by that person with their trust and their admiration of what you do. And see it any other way, I think, is just missing the forest for the trees, dude.
100. Dude, every tattoo, I'm grateful that of every choice they had.
Me too.
In Columbus, that they picked me. I'm like, wow. I mean, half my consultations when I'm booking, and you may even find this too, it's like, I want to make sure they understand this is my style.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because in my brain, I'm thinking, why the fuck did you pick me to do this tattoo?
Yeah.
Like, this is a little bit out of my comfort zone, or I'm going to put my own twist on it. And they're like, no, that's why I picked you. Like, I want you to put your twist on it. And when somebody says that, dude, there's no better fucking feeling.
Yeah, I mean, last night I'm working on an Ohio State sleeve. It's architectural stuff and figure stuff. I've done a few Ohio State sleeves, and I'll do them all fucking day. I love the Buckeyes, OHIO baby. I'm for it. The requests for Ohio State sleeves aren't always the most unique requests. So it's very hard, in my opinion, to build a unique looking Ohio State sleeve. Ohio State tattoo, easy. But a sleeve, a coherent sleeve that looks cool and flows and everything, it's a little more difficult. But yesterday, I was working on, this guy picks the 2024 championship team, though, and sends me a list of players and moments that were awesome. And I'm like, all right, this guy's got direction. This is going to be a fun one. And when I met with him, he's like, I said the same thing you're saying. I'm like, all right, dog, like, you're showing me this like hyper realistic inside view of the horseshoe and these fucking players catching fucking footballs. I was like, I'll do you tattoos of those, but they ain't gonna look like this thing on the phone, dude. They're gonna, I don't fucking know what they're gonna look like.
Right.
I did like a semi-realistic tattoo of Woody Hayes, and I've tattooed Archie Griffin. Is it Griffin or Griffith? I don't know. Sorry, Archie. Sorry, Archie.
Yeah,
man.
Sorry, two-time Heisman winner.
Yeah, Columbus legend. But I've tattooed stuff like that. So I'm pretty confident if you want something that's real and tattooed in my style, I can tattoo something that's real in my style, but it ain't gonna be necessarily realistic.
Yeah. I'm not Scotty Don't.
Yeah, that shit's gonna have an outline, buddy.
That's literally, dude, this last consultation I had about these chess pieces, they sent me these hyper like realism black and gray, no outlines, and I was like, bro, I put an outline on everything. He's like, no. He's like, I couldn't find good chess pieces, so I just sent you these 3 reference photos. So, but not again.
For me, outside of the technical ability to be able to reproduce realistic artwork, right? Which I don't necessarily possess. I also don't possess the ability to do that kind of mid-tone, smooth gray. And so if you tattoo like me and you end up doing realistic tattoos there, and you don't outline nothing, they just look like, remember the portraits from like the 90s to the late 2000s where it's just like the head, you see like the hair and the white teeth and the white eyes,
Yep.
and the fucking face is just fucking washed out.
Yep.
Yeah, I couldn't do that to somebody, man. That's what
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't.
No, that's too impressive. What's on the docket for this year? What are your goals?
Oh my God. I'd almost have to pull my list up. So I've got a lot happening. Actually, I'm glad you asked because something big just developed. I'm going to try to get all my dates right. So, May 24th, we're having a 20-year anniversary mini convention at High Street Tattoo.
Awesome.
To celebrate 20 years in business. All kinds of tattooers are coming out. Charlie Campanella, my first apprentice, is coming out from Oklahoma. Troy Mort's coming from Pennsylvania. Crazy Stevie Wells and Tom Beans from New York City. Uncle Ronnie Delacqua from upstate or northeastern PA. We got who else is cruising through? Jay Smalley from down North Carolina right now. Sorry for anybody I'm forgetting. I just took a huge bong rip. But the list will be coming out soon. So we got a mini con going on at High Street Tattoo, May 24th. Tons of heavy hitters, and I believe they're going to be offering some kind of badass discounted flash sheet that everybody's going to be jamming off of.
Oh, nice. Very cool.
Yeah, we're going to have maybe like 20 some tattooers working up in the shop at the same time. It'll be sick.
It's going to be fucking awesome.
Yeah. I've been a part of some of these mini cons, and they're really fun. So, outside of that, I'm working the Scranton convention in April, and I'll be taking a display of Stoney Sinclair stuff with me and setting up a historical booth as well as my tattoo booth. I'm going out there with J-Bo from High Street, J-Bo James, and Connor McKinney from Body Language is coming with me to help with the Stoney booth. I am working the Athens, Greece convention in May.
Fuck yes.
With Nick Caruso. Yeah, Nick Caruso got me on that. So we're going out to Athens and hanging out there and doing some tats. Friday, September 12th. This is like an absolutely new development. And I do not even have a venue secured, but it's getting booked. So I'm pretty comfortable saying it. So, last year at Pagoda, I met Tim Hendricks. We had talked online a little bit, and we met in person, and we started talking about the current state of tattooing and how if street shop folks don't adapt to new tattooing, it's just going to turn new tattooers off to street shops for forever.
Right.
And we need to preserve the magic that is the street shop. And him and I met. We were like instantly like, we had the same idea. We both had notes on our phones about doing this. So we texted a little bit after the show and decided we were going to team up. And we've been talking to a bunch of tattooers that we admire and respect around the country of how to approach it. And I think we got a little group we're calling the Street Shop Syndicate. And
cool. Nice.
We are going to host a roundtable discussion Friday, May 12th in Columbus, Ohio. No selling anything. Nobody's buying anything. There's no tattooing going on at it. It's literally a discussion amongst tattooers that are well respected within the circle of tattooers that I know. And we're sending out invites as soon as we secure a venue. We'll be sending out invites to street shops and tattooers and shop owners and people in the business that we know and respect. And we'd like to see a lot of folks out. It has the potential of being something very special, because it's very rare that a bunch of tattoo artists and tattooers and hustle-minded folks are going to meet up to not make money to discuss the longevity of what we do, and to make sure that the next generation carries the torch and doesn't miss the magic, you know?
Right.
So we're going to see how that goes. There may be more around that, you know? That's still to be announced. But I'm pretty comfortable saying that this roundtable discussion is happening in Columbus, Ohio, September, May 12th. Somewhere in just a fucking room. It's not, it's not going to be some, you're not going to walk in and see fucking tat doodle, fucking stencil crap sponsor.
Right.
It's not going to be any of this shit, man. We're literally just a bunch of people. And if you got beef with other tattooers that are going to do it, you're uninvited, dude. Like, if you can't check your beef at the door, just don't come, but if you really care about tattooing and the history and future of it, and you want to have a talk with other folks that really care and love tattooing, then it could be for you. We're going to send out invites and kind of keep it small for this first one to see how it goes. And if it goes well, we might do more,
That's awesome.
Yeah. Something to kind of brainstorm and get a bunch of smart people in the same room together,
Right.
Get a chance to all have like an open discussion with no competition or no Instagram and no cameras.
Yep.
Just literally check everything at the door and let's talk this shit out.
Yeah. Yeah. Got to keep the magic alive, brother.
Well, the magic won't die. The magic's just going to transfer cultures. And, like tattooing, the culture of tattooing is changing so much with like influencers and, kind of part-timers and people just kind of jumping into the game. I think that some of us folks that learn the traditional way need to adjust our game a little bit. My personal opinion. I'm not criticizing anyone, but I have adjusted my game. And I'd like to share my experiences of adjusting my game with the other tattooers that I respect.
Dude, I've completely adjusted my game.
Yeah, and I'd love to hear how they've adjusted theirs.
Yeah.
So it's like, so that's happening too. I've got a couple other things popping off here and there. Of course, always I'd have to get my list out.
Right.
I can't remember things, dude. I'm gonna go check out that Chad Coplinger art show at the end of the month here in Chicago. Maybe some tattooer friends, Eddie Deutsch will be out there, so I'm gonna go out there and kick it for a couple of days and check that out.
Nice. Well, sounds like you got a good year going, brother.
Yeah, I say every year I'm going to chill with the travel and not do it as much, and then I get offered like cooler and cooler things every year, and I'm like, fuck, dude, I gotta do this. I can't not do, And I mean, it's a fact though. I'm just gonna keep getting older. You know what I mean? Like, what the fuck, man? What have I been working for my whole life if I'm gonna turn down opportunities now that I'm getting them?
Right.
So I got them at 46 and not 36. Fucking shut up and get to work, dude.
Yeah, no, dude. Take it when you can. Enjoy it when you can.
Yeah, I mean, my whole thing was always get in where you fit in and wait your turn, man. And I've been waiting for a long time for it to be my turn. And, now these doors have been opening up to rub elbows and become friends with, and talk to all the tattooers that I consider my heroes. I get to see them at almost as peers at this point, but not necessarily.
Right.
But it's more on a friendship tip, than I used to just like look at those dudes from across the room like, oh shit, that's so and so,
Yeah.
oh holy shit, and now that we're kicking it, so again, it's been a crazy roller coaster, and I have no idea how it got here, but I'm sure happy it did.
Well, dude, congratulations on everything.
I
appreciate you taking.
I owe it all to you.
Well, I gave you the jump start. You rolled with it. So it's awesome to see all your success. I love working for you. Love working at Sacred Hand. Appreciate you taking time out this morning to jump on this podcast, brother.
Oh man, anything for you, dude. Hope I didn't cuss too much. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think anybody worries about this podcast being censored.
Yeah, I don't limit how I talk very well. I think you might know that by now.
Well, brother, get back to painting.
Right,
I appreciate you spending time with us, and I will I'll see you tonight probably.
Yes. Oh no, I'm heading to Pittsburgh tonight to with Frank. See some. We're gonna see Murphy's Law and Agnostic Front.
Oh, okay.
In Pittsburgh and hang out with some friends.
Cool. Well, I will see you sometime this week then, brother.
All right, bro. Take it easy.
Later.